Alright, hopping right into this video, I'm starting at the arch of her brow, and I'm going to trace out the natural shape of her brow, and I'm going to fill in afterwards. You'll see me pull that brow down, and then also she naturally has brows that are far apart, so I'm going to also bring those in towards her nose and the center of her face. Just going to shade that in. I think this is the shade Espresso in the Ulta Slim Brow Pencil. I'll leave all details in the description box below. Yeah, so next I'm using a Morphe flat brush. I have a technique on how I get my concealer brushes so flat. If you'd like to see that, leave a comment, let me know. I get my techniques from Kiki Adams. And I'm using the Pro Girl concealer to carve out her brows. I'm using a lot of pressure when I'm carving out the brows. I like to prop my hand on the side of the face and press down into the skin. It gives me easier and better control when carving out the brows. I am going to use a small beauty blender to blend out the edges of the concealer. You don't have to blend out everything because you're going to put foundation and whatnot on top of it anyways. But I had to skip a few parts because I had camera issues. So now her lids are already set with the P. Louise shadow base, and now I'm going in with the Juviasplace Berries palette, and I'm packing one of the deepest shades. It's like the second to darkest deepest shade. I packed that into her crease. As you can see, I'm patting. Now I'm taking a lighter shade. It's like a hot pink shade, and I am patting that right above the deepest maroon shade, or violet fuchsia, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm using patting motions, and then you'll see me blend a little bit, but with this P. Louise base and then just the technique of patting it in, you don't have to blend too much. Now I'm going to take a makeup wipe and wipe off kind of just like the top of her lids, because I'm going to be cutting a crease and I don't want that color to bleed into the crease color, or the cut crease color. I'm taking P. Louise again, and I'm just going to carve out her cut crease. So I can do like an in-depth tutorial on how I do that. I use the same concealer brush from Morphe, and it's flattened. And yeah, I just cut the crease, and then I'll pack the pigment on top as soon as we're done. Passion players. Now I'm just patting that P. Louise to get it a little bit more dry, so that I can apply the pigment that we are going to put on top, which is this beautiful yellow pigment, also from Juviasplace. I cannot remember the name of this palette, but like I said, all products will be listed in the description box below. I'm going to pat in this yellow shade, and you'll notice that I'm not going to get too close to the actual cut of the crease. It'll look a little messy, but it's okay because it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to actually line out her cut crease with glitter, so it's no point in me making the edge of this cut crease so perfect when you're not even going to see it anyway. But yeah, so I patted it in with a regular Morphe brush, like a fluffy blending brush, and then I always like kind of get a little closer to the edges with another flat Morphe brush. So there's that. Now I'm taking the original very deep fuchsia shade, and I was smoking out the corners, and then right in front of that I'm going in with the hot pink shade that I used to smoke it out originally in the crease. And basically you're just going to blend and fade it out. And now I'm going with a small detailed brush and putting glue, eyelash glue, where we're going to put glitter on top and cut out the crease. This is so beautiful to me. But yeah. So once that glitter is on, you're going to see me take a spoolie. This is how I get excess glitter off. This works magic. Just use a dry spoolie. Be careful because it could hurt your client. This is my best friend, so I was kind of being a little rough. But yeah, take a dry spoolie. That's the easiest way to get extra glitter off of your client. I don't know, it just rakes it off. But yeah. I'm using a makeup wipe to get a little more glitter off of her face. And I noticed that I don't know how to say excess. I keep saying access, but it's excess glitter off her face. Now, I'm going in with the e.l.f. liquid liner. I'm not going to do a wing liner, just a thin line of black eyeliner. And then after this is done, I'm going to go and put, I think this is e.l.f. Rose Face Primer. It's a primer. It's by e.l.f. It's like in the little, you see. Yeah. This is a primer. It's the first time I ever used this primer on her. I think it worked pretty good. Now, for foundation, I mixed the Nars Radiant Foundation. The shade I cannot remember, but it will be in the description box. And then also my favorite foundation ever to use on, especially clients with darker skin tones, like around this skin tone, maybe a little lighter or maybe a little darker. My favorite foundation to use is the It Cosmetics. It's cosmetics. I'm gonna leave the details in the description box below. It's a very thick foundation, but the coverage is amazing, and as long as you set it with powder, it should be fine. You may have to mix in some other foundations, like I mixed in the Nars Radiant Foundation just to like customize to whatever skin tone that you're working with, because their shade range is very, very limited, especially for deep complexions. But this foundation, I love it so much. So now I'm just patting in using a beauty blender. By the way, the beauty blenders that you see me use in this video, I think I pretty much use beauty blenders for everything. But there's a trio pack by e.l.f. and it comes with a very, very small beauty blender, a medium-sized beauty blender, and then a larger beauty blender. And I always dampen my beauty blenders with warm water before doing makeup on myself or any of my clients. So that's just a little tip. And then I just slowly blend it in, and it's flawless. I really love using blenders. Now I'm going in with the Pro Girl Conceal again. I'm putting that on her forehead between her brows. I'm going to put that down the bridge of her nose and above her lip, on her chin, and then under her eyes. Also, please excuse me if my voice sounds a little deep. I just woke up, so I'm trying to get this video out. I was supposed to get it out this morning, but I just got to make sure I get it out today, so I don't always sound masculine like this. So yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to start blending out the concealer. I always blend out the forehead, nose, lip, and chin first so that the concealer under the eyes can sit a little longer. Fun fact, the longer you let your concealer sit, the more coverage you get. Also, I'm using the smallest beauty blender from the e.l.f. trio that I mentioned earlier. That will be left in the description box as well. So now I'm going to start blending out the concealer under her eyes for a highlighted effect. This is literally my favorite part. I think this really just brings everything together and makes your whole face look snatched overall. So yeah, I'm just going to keep blending that out very softly. Always have a light touch because you don't want to hurt your client. I don't think this is a good reference because I've done her makeup so many times and she's my best friend, like I said, so I don't really care if it hurts or if I'm not hurting her, but you know, I'm just being a little more rough. So now I'm taking Juviasplace loose powder, and I think it's in the medium shade, and I'm setting under her eyes, everywhere where I concealed / highlighted. I'm going to be setting. I really like this loose powder. I like the Morphe loose powder as well, but this one just went better with her complexion, and it makes your face look very, very smooth and flawless. And now I'm going in with this is actually the e.l.f. camo concealer, and I went in a darker shade to contour her face. And then I'm just going to be blending that out with the largest beauty blender from the trio pack. It's not a beauty blender, e.l.f. blender from the trio pack I mentioned. And I'm taking that original fuchsia shade and smoking out her bottom lash line. Now I'm taking highlighter, going in her inner corners and her brow bone, also on her nose. And this is a smaller brush from Morphe as well. I'm contouring her nose with a fluffy brush from Morphe. I used one of the contour shades from the Morphe contour palette in the deepest shade range. And I'm just setting where I contoured her face. From that same contour palette from Morphe, they also have blush and highlight, and I'm using the peachy blush from that palette. The highlight that I'm using is from Ofra. I don't remember the shade. Now I'm taking a lip pencil or a lip brush, and I'm taking a shade from the Chocolates palette from Makiage, and I'm basically lining her lips. I didn't use actual lip liner. I just used like I guess it's like a lipstick. It's a little more tacky than a lipstick though, and I'm using that to trace out the shape of her lip and then fill in afterwards. And then we're going to go in with a lip gloss from Glazedbylaurenwhitney and put that on her lips. And that's pretty much it. So if you guys like these client tutorials, let me know. Thank you so much for watching.